Call our June 6th Jackson County Commission work session to order. Have a roll call.
District 1, Mr. Guffey.
Present.
District 2, Mr. Venable.
Present.
District 3, Ms. Gilbert.
Present.
District 4, Mr. Sis. Chairman also present.
Have a full present. Have our invocation by Mr. Porter and our pledge by Mr. Sis.
God, our Father in heaven, we're before you again, and we continue to be blessed to live in this great county. We're thankful for all the public servants that serve each and every one of us every day. We're thankful for their families. We pray you'll watch over them and guide them and give them a good measure of success in the work that they do. We pray you'll watch over our men and women in the armed services, God, because they're in harm's way in various parts of the world. We pray for their safety. We pray for their success. Pray you'll continue to watch over us all in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of approval of the agenda, we have one item, or several few items for discussion regarding public works. Are there any changes before we proceed? We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion.
Motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay, we've had no one sign up to speak today, so we'll move straight on to our discussion items, and the item, or several items again regarding public works. So, Mr. Campbell, you want to present the meeting?
Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioners, the letters there for the all of the personnel actions, May 23rd, 2017, I'll start it off in the order of the agenda items. You can see the details of that recommendation for a vacant HMT2 position. And then the next letter, dated May 31st, 2017, in that letter, please find the recommendation for one of the remaining HMT1 vacant positions. And then lastly, on the personnel items, letter dated June 1st, 2017, is a vacant temporary labor position recommendation.
Any questions on those three items? All these were vacancies that occurred through the process of the promotion, I think, correct? We had some retire, and that caused folks to move through the process.
Yes, sir. Vacancies from retirement or taking employment elsewhere.
Let's get our, all the positions full down there. We still like a position or two, don't we?
Yes, sir. Well, if all these are approved, we'll still have a vacant HMT1, if I'm not mistaken, and then one temporary laborer position.
All temporary lighting?
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, if there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda for next Monday for approval. Okay, for those items, and then the final items regarding the resurfacing project selection.
Yes, sir. We're somewhat full circle back to where we started to some degree. In the email I sent you guys, I tried to detail some of the findings as this has progressed as far as the road selection. And in the email, I'm pretty sure I referenced the visits we had with the industry representatives. And so we wanted a professional to look at County Road 42 to verify the hot in place recycling as an option for us with that. Pavement depth was the main question. And then also we contacted an industry rep and presented photos about County Road 16, just to give some confirmation to a microservicing as a application for that project. And what we did learn after taking pavement samples, cutting some of the areas that were in question, is County Road 42 borderline on thickness, really a little too thin in some spots for the hot in place recycling. So what that's left us with, it could possibly still work, but there's not enough comfort level there for the industry or for us to try something unless we're 100% sure that we want success in it. You know, they don't want that, and obviously we don't either. So if there's a hot in place project done in this state or this county in particular, they want to make sure that it's a success, as do we. So that's looking like not an option on 42. So what you have before you are back to the three resurfacing projects as initially submitted. And then also as
I
county
don't
roads,
think we have that sheet in.
it should look like this.
Yeah, I'll write make copies of it.
It's, I can share this. It's something you've already seen.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about it briefly, and you guys can review it and see if there's any question. It's 59, 42, and 16, just as I previously submitted for resurfacing. And then this is the estimate that you guys have already seen too, about the 5.8 miles of County Road 16. So you can take this estimate and compare it to the price tag of the others as far
That's
as
the micro seal,
micro
which is
surfacing.
still an option for
It is,
16.
right, and the feedback we had from the reps is, as we had it planned with a scrub seal, sealing the cracks in the areas, we would do extra depth milling and replacing the areas where the base has failed and there's issues, structure issues. We would do that with the extra depth patching, and then the micro surfacing would be for the whole 5.8 miles, so.
Our choice is either micro seal project or any of these three.
Yes.
When was the last time 42 was paid?
The last time 42 was paid, it's,
2003?
yes, sir.
Okay, 15 years.
Now, were you talking about on 16 about making it thicker in spots for redoing the base and everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Where it's thin on 42, there's no options there that we could do something in-house to
Yeah,
get it?
all of these projects would have extra depth patching in there, so both, even the resurfacing projects, there'll be a certain amount of tonnage set up for those areas identified where you see base failures on 42. We would come in there, that would be extra depth planes and then patching put in that. Then
But
it would
on
be
where the
resurfaced.
company was saying it was too thin or whatever, there's
Oh,
nothing we
oh,
can do there?
No, we cord in like 1 cord per mile in some of those to cut the areas, and they're out of the cords, two of the three that we cut were just borderline or either borderline or too thin.
Which one?
They require something.
They're looking for a minimum of 2 inches, but preferably more, but no less than 2. And we were right on 2 with some. The one in particular was real close to 2, just under, and then another one was a lot thinner. And then we did have one spot that was thick enough, but it was more towards the center line. So,
We need to go that route, it's not gonna be successful.
you know, and honestly, it's gonna be a challenge. You know, it's crazy that 42 is a major collector and it's been resurfaced as many times as it has. You've been out there in service as long as it has, and there's, you know, you got 2 inches of asphalt.
That's what's ridiculous.
And it's countywide, you know.
I was looking forward to seeing what that other would work.
I think there's still there's likely some candidates, you know, we need to go back and scratch our head and make sure we get a right selection for that. But, Mr. Venable brought up the grant, there's some grant stuff out there, and we're making contacts and kind of shaking some bushes on that front. And, basically though, we're still waiting on some answers. We've got some and still waiting some, but what Miss Manning has found out is that we would be a sub-recipient through the state with a federal grant. And this is accelerated innovation projects that there's been a couple, they said, that they've, you know, known of happening. So that may not be a dead end. So we're gonna keep looking at this and looking and we'll go back to the drawing board on selection too, as far as the right project.
Yeah, well, can I ask you a question on something that we hadn't, goes along with this? We talked about some roads going back to church.
Yes, sir.
Like I run across one today, they got called on, don't quote me on this, I think it was 79. in Flat Rock, but there's probably not 2 houses, maybe. And the base is just, I mean, it's to a point where I don't think we could even just tar and gravel it
Right.
because of it's breaking off so bad. Is that something that we probably candidate for just taking it back to church?
Absolutely, yeah. What we've done, you know, when we get out there and it's a dead end road or, you know, it's a very, very low volume local road, like we've seen. Yeah, there's some off of 491, you know, 562 and 3, both of those, and there's one up at Pleasant View. If there's more bad out there than good, and it's not on the paving list, we can't afford to pave it, then it's been going back to soil and aggregate. And we did experiment with one of the roads, and I forget the number. It was the one at Pleasant View, and we applied the liquid calcium chloride when we worked the aggregate in. And it really helps with dust control and solidifying that base. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but we're,
Yeah, they called me about fixing it, but after I got out there, I didn't really see the point of even calling you because it's so bad.
yeah.
I don't know, you know what I mean? It ain't like it's just a few potholes, we just fill some
Yeah.
potholes and it'd be okay. This is,
It's gone.
yeah, and the edges are so bad, it's only one car in places. You
Right.
actually have to pull off the road and let somebody go by. So I think that's something that we need to look at just.
And honestly, folks probably feel differently, but the ones that we have returned to aggregate soil, they seemed happy about it. Hey, it's better than what we had.
Right. Well, that's what I'm thinking on
After
this
so many alignments
situation.
and everything else.
It ain't the perfect situation, but I think it's gonna be better than what we
Yes,
got.
And honestly, to pave it, we would have to do that anyway. So,
Right.
you know,
If things got better, we can always go back.
if we hit a windfall and we can pave some roads, you know, it's at least the reclaiming the surface has already been done. So,
You don't know how many miles offhand that the hard surface that we've lost in the last year or so?
not all that much. I would say we're still under 10 miles, but you know, we really only had about 30 miles of dirt, what we call dirt road to start with. So we're gaining.
Based on what's been presented, are there any thoughts as far as the project, or do you have a recommendation?
Honestly, not really. You know, I like the extra mileage. You know, anytime if we're near the same price, we can cover 6 miles versus 2.5. That's attractive to me. But you know, like we've discussed, we still have the issue out there that these roads are bad. So we are going to have to put some money into maintaining those roads, at least so we can do it. Now, I will say this. There has been competition around in this county, as you all know, and with the job that just let last month, we were well under our estimation bracket. So, you know, we hadn't seen enough data to change our estimation practices, but if things trend the way the last project is done, then that changes all the numbers I have before you know,
Right.
so, I think we're, you know, I have full confidence in their ability to estimate these projects and the numbers that are on it, but it looks like with what's ahead, we stand a good shot at getting some reduced prices on hot mix.
So on these three though, you're leaning more towards 16.
I mean, I like the micro surfacing is interesting to me to be able to cover 6 miles for the price of what 2 is here.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is, okay.
But the need is there. You know, they all need it. It's not a waste of money any way you go. It's like some of the other things we talked about before. You know, none of these are a poor choice.
Right.
So
It just looks like to me it makes more sense, like you said.
Just bet you gotta look at the number of visits that go that survey. I mean, that's a third.
right, your ADT, your ADT factors.
on that 42. I would lean more toward doing worst first, and, you know, 16 has the best grade of the 3 that we have here.
The
But
biggest
the worst
benefit-
one has the lower
Traffic.
traffic count
Yes, sir.
than 42.
And you gotta look at the fact that 42, that's their main way in and out. There's not many other ways to come in and out of
If we were to take something like 42, or even 59, but
there.
if we were to take something like 42 and pave it, how confident are we that it's going to be paved in a way that we can come back in 15 years and do a hot in place resurfacing? If, you know, there may be something else at that time, but I mean, is it going to meet those standards when if it's repaved?
If we resurface it one more time, it would be a prime candidate. Yeah, you're looking at, you know,
It's
minimum
about-
an inch and a half of structured additional.
We just want, I mean, anything that we do, we want to make sure that we're not leaving the same problem for people in the future.
Yeah, what have they done in the past? Milled some of that? Because I mean, 42 has to have had several layers
Well,
over the last several
You know,
years.
evidently, it's just been the minimum amount of structure you know, could be done. Patch the bad areas, pull a thin overlay, and let's cover some miles, you know.
Are there a way to change, you know, the major, is that something that just the state does? Or,
There is a way to change it. It's, you know, data required and request required, and then there's some analysis that goes into balancing the mileage and some justification for it. So, you know, some of those roads may not necessarily be the highest ADT, but kind of the way I understand it is, it was the main way, you know what I mean?
In the old days.
It was the farm to market route, so it was,
And we discussed that the day I was out with you, and I was wondering, just like you, if there's a way to determine or change, because things have changed. Where
Well, I know,
people live
like-
have changed, where they
Yeah.
go has changed.
like in District 1, I know, after looking at what qualifies to what really the traffic
Mhm.
roads
Yeah.
are totally different
Yeah.
now.
We had the map out, and he was showing me the different colors and what they meant, and I'm like, nobody goes on this road, what are we talking about?
if there,
But it says it's a
They go on
major.
those roads.
yeah,
We just need
and,
to add major.
and the local knowledge you guys have could factor in largely, you know, we could look into that. It's gonna require some things like traffic counts, you know, on this one versus this one, and some, you know, some data and facts to present to say, hey,
Right.
what about this one versus this?
I'm kinda like Jason said, you know, the worst ones is the ones got to have the jump on and try to take care of.
All right, do we want to proceed next week then? With this, make a
Which one?
decision next week? We'll figure it out.
And when you mentioned right there, it's these figures right there come back around with other possibilities of other people coming in.
Rating.
Yes, sir.
So you think that's gonna have a bearing on some of
If it
this?
goes like the project that just left,
I
you
guess
know,
that's like also,
So that would be a better factor for us.
yes, sir. We're talking, if it's like the phase 2 of 33 that just left this past month, you're looking at 3.5 miles for the price of 2.5.
59 and 16 is a major thoroughfare.
Well, every
Cut off and go
bit
to
right there is a
Fort Payne,
plus.
Yes, sir.
Wait, Fort Payne dropped off that way and come out at the margins.
What's your suggestion?
For the old margins.
As far as which
But, you know, You
choice,
can also choose to go on off the mountain on 117 or you can
it
go on
really doesn't
95.
matter.
But if you're
Honest
in
to me,
Butler,
from
you're
a
on
payment
track,
management
you can go up on the
standpoint,
mountain and come back off, or come out.
I understand the worst first, that's the way we've always operated. With the state, we always operated like that. From a pavement management aspect, there really needs to be some balance, you know, to do it properly with enough money. Assuming a lot of things that are just not our case, but assuming some things with enough money to manage the resources, we would have to allocate money for our backlog, so our really bad roads. We would allocate a portion of our money to prevention of the okay roads and keeping them from falling into the bad. You know what I mean? So our backlog's not growing faster than we can work on it, because understanding that the worst first is also the most expensive, you know, so. I think we can get there eventually, but we've got to just change our way of doing business totally, and we need some more money, honestly, you know.
Right.
so 42's, is that the consensus here?
We can make a decision next week. If I had to make a recommendation, it would be 42 based on the cost per mile, the estimated cost per mile, and the cost per, you know, based on this vehicle today. This was done over, I mean, it's an average over a period of time, or how does that?
Yes, sir.
So So based on the number of vehicles, that's gonna be your biggest bang for your buck as well. And I'm 100% on board with trying to take care of roads from falling into disrepair. If we, in this particular case, with the number of those that we serve, I think we've got to take care of the ones that we're serving, that are using it the most.
So it's like you're talking about, like you were talking about when we, on Chippewa Pipe, when we went up there when we were doing those kind of things? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, the crack ceiling.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put it on the vote for next week? We'll wait.
If there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda next week. I'll have it recorded. And then we'll continue to lobby for some additional dollars from the legislature. Maybe we can come up with something eventually. Okay, that concludes all the items for the agenda, so we'll move on to our reports. Mr. Manning? Mr. Campbell, do you have anything further?
I do, I just want to update some things. There's a final handout that late edition. It looks like the one I'm holding. Sorry, there's no title. But it's a tabulation, and as you're all aware, we wrapped up and had the ribbon cutting on our final and largest A-trip project, and this is basically an update on how all of those dollars shook out. So there's a couple things I want to point out, and I just want to highlight. I'll start by saying in the very last column, looking at the page to the right, 8.853 31022. That's our total to date, our semifinals, if we want to call it that. And there's a kind of handwritten note under that. And what that's talking about is, it takes several years for these things to final out. So there's folks that have to review the files, there's documents that have to review, and if there's difference in quantities, there could be some payouts and settlements and things of that nature as far as disputed quantities. And then there's administrative costs that go along with those reviews, obviously. But I just wanted to update you guys, and it's mostly about the staff and the folks that have worked on this. And this all took place before my time, so I get no credit in this. But you see that $9 million, you've heard the figure that A-Trip meant over $9 million for Jackson County. And in fact, by these numbers, we see that. So by all of the projects, which were 6 resurfacing projects and 3 bridge projects, it was $9 million worth of work that went into estimating, went into the actual construction phase, it went into the engineering and inspecting. So these folks were out there inspecting it, documenting, recording all the works, getting the contractors paid, getting the final estimates approved, all the final quantities checked off, all the bells and whistles, and facilitating this through ALDOT and getting everything done. So out of $9 million worth of work, they estimated, and then construction saw 8.8, 53,310.22. So this is just me commending those folks and making you guys aware of the staff that you have there. But they were able to estimate and this go to construction. You're talking about within 2% of $9 million.
We were
That is so incredibly hard to do. I don't know how they did it. I told them that. I just wanted you all to know their capability, and I'm insanely proud of what they were able to do. So I just wanted to let you all know that.
Thank them. This is our engineering staff, correct?
Yes, sir. And that's they all pitch in to help each other do everything, and Miss Manning leads a lot of those operations. So that's really hard to do.
You did a very good job with it. Thank you. Mr. Porter? Okay, Mr. Venable?
No.
Yeah. Mr. Sid?
I did get a phone call from Steve Helms on this 911 vacancy is coming up. He told me he didn't want to do it. He said he knew it would be a letter, but he got some things coming up, he just wanted me to mention them. I'll take care of it.
Okay. Anything further? Ms. Gilbert?
Just that the Marty Gray contacted me about it, so there will be a vacancy, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll announce those in a moment.
And then, the meeting next week is at section
That's right, section at
5:30
5:30.
in
Section
the library. Mhm.
Okay. It'll be our meeting followed by the community meeting.
And I haven't seen a flyer on that from Anna or anything yet.
Okay, I'll take, we'll see what we can get this week.
Nothing on Facebook.
You want to bring that up too?
Yeah. Tim, do you have anything, or do you want to?
Yeah, well, looks like on July the 10th, we're gonna try to have a community meeting, at Community Center in Bridgeport for, what's the word?
Annexation,
Annexation of, County Road.
do you remember what the county road number is?
I don't remember the number of county roads, I know what you're talking
One
about.
out in Russell County, it's 70,
90, yeah, I think 97.
97.
but it's gotta be something else to 97 also.
Yeah.
But that's the reason we, wanted to go
The
ahead and have a
destinations
community
area.
meeting, and that way we can go ahead and have people in the community come out and,
We've
give
got
us
to
their
get-
thoughts on that.
Yeah, we've got to confirm the date and time on it
Yes.
still. That's when we plan to.
Right now, tentatively, it's gonna be July 10th at 5 o'clock. But I will,
And
Confirm
where's
that for
gonna
next-
be?
huh?
Where, do you know where
Community
it's
Center in
at?
Bridgeport.
Okay, community center.
Can we take it further? Okay. You do have a copy of your, these board appointments, and I'll announce again on some of these, and I think first time come. Jackson County Personnel Board, we have 4 vacancies that need to be filled, for anybody that's interested in that. The 911 Board, we have 3 vacancies to be filled. We have received letters on several of those, as you see here, but we do have 3 vacancies. We will leave that open until the end of the month, and we'll hope to make those appointments at the last meeting in June, which will be, let me make sure I've got a date. June the 26th is when we'll make the appointments for the 911 board, and we'll be taking applications for that until the 23rd at 4:30 p.m. So anybody interested in the 911 board, 4:30, June 23rd will be the deadline. We have 1 vacancy on the DHR board. That will be open through July, end of July. And we have 3 positions coming up in the Jackson County Healthcare Authority, 3 positions to be appointed in September. And we have 1 vacancy from a resignation, so we have 1 vacancy available now. So we'll leave that open also till the 23rd of June to see what applications we have, and we can leave that further if necessary for healthcare authority.
Commissioner Charlie signed.
So that, that will hopefully be appointed sooner rather than later, and then we've got the other 3 positions coming up in September. So if you have any questions on that, you can let me know, and hopefully we'll have applications for several of these positions. Any questions on those?
Yeah.
All right. I think that concludes everything. As Ms. Gilbert said, next week we'll be at Section Library at 5:30. Correct? All right. So with that, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Uh-huh.
Any opposed say no.